Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tattd's first ever virtual convention. We thank you all for joining us right now, and I'm super excited about this amazing lineup of artists that we have here today. We're going to cover a lot about the industry. We're going to give you all some great insights and go in depth about technique as well. Before we jump in, though, I do want to do just a first word about Tattd and about the community we're building here, right? So as you already know, Tattd is the first app where you can intelligently search for your next tattoo artist, right? So I essentially built this out for me, right? So for years, I would search on Google and Yelp and Instagram in order to find the right artist. And, I feel like now doing Tattd, I also run into so many artists that are super skilled and super under the radar, right? So there was always this sort of disjunct in the community. And we're out here to change that, right? So we're about community, we're about connection, we're about education, right? I know all you tattoo artists out there have had the experience of someone walking in and just not really even knowing the process of getting a tattoo. And we're also here to act as a voice for all the underrepresented communities within the tattoo industry, right? So as I started Tattd, funnily enough, I don't think I saw that as being as much of an issue just within the tattooing industry. Like in my head, it was, a niche, industry sort of like off the beaten path, like not subject to the white male paradigm. And that turns out to not be true. So we're really, really here to be a voice to people of all skin tones and sexual orientations and body types and gender identifications, you name it, we're here from you, right? So that's really what Tattd in this community is about. And people do always ask me, what's your favorite part about starting your own company and being your own boss, which doesn't really feel like that, but and genuinely you guys, like, my absolute favorite part is meeting so many passionate, talented, strong, badass people that are like really here for this community and really passionate about what they're doing and about tattooing. So you guys are why we're here and who we're here for. So I'm very excited to have this convention and continue on that mission today. But let's dive in. Enough for me. Let's get started. So a quick overview of our agenda. First, we'll be doing an interview with the one and only Katrina Jackson. I actually am wearing Tattd's merch too. So, shout out Tattd, you have to represent. We'll be doing an interview with Katrina Jackson first. And then we'll hear from three amazing speakers, right? So we have Melody Mitchell on how to tattoo on color on different skin tones, right? That's a problem in the industry. Like, people don't really, or some artists aren't super educated on how to do that, and that's important. We'll hear from Ivana Belakova, who's an incredible artist, and she's going to do a technical deep dive on her sort of expertise. And then we'll hear from Phillip Fabian on the international tattoo scenes, which I'm really excited to hear about. We'll quickly hear a word from our sponsor as well. Shout out Hustle Butter. I know y'all all know the premier tattoo aftercare brand, and they're going to do a small segment on healing and aftercare. And then at the very end, we'll get to announce our tattoo competition winners, which I know everyone's excited to see. So let me go ahead and get Katrina Jackson introduced. So Katrina is not only an incredible artist that I'm sure everyone knows about, but is also a fellow female entrepreneur, which is great. She started tattooing super early in life, but really hit the map when she was on Black Ink Crew in 2015. And she's now the founder and CEO of Enigma Tattoo in Beverly Hills. Let me invite Katrina onto the screen real quick. Let's see. There's always a little bit lag in these virtual events, but she should be connecting in just a moment, you guys. And you guys, during the segment, also feel free to jump in to the chat. You'll see to your bottom right. You can enter any comments, any questions that you have for Katrina too. I'll be asking her after her segment or after the interview.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Katrina? It's so nice to actually see you in person. We've exchanged so many emails.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is an amazing event. I'm super excited about what you have going on and excited to be a part of it. So.
I love that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. I mean, it's really like, again, this is my favorite part. Like, I love connecting to amazing artists, and everyone has just such a special story. And we get to hear from yours today, which is cool. Or like I said, you guys, like, throw any comments and questions in the box, and after the interview, we'll get to those, because I definitely, again, want to connect everyone and get everyone together. But Katrina, let's start with like the early days of your tattoo career. As I understand it, you dropped out of college to pursue tattooing. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I love it. So, when was that like risk make sense, right? So when did that decision, like, you were like, yeah, this is worth it, like, I'm dropping out?
Yeah, so college, I didn't really go to college with like a set plan. I had a scholarship because I scored really high in math on the ACT. So I just picked math as a major, but it was nothing ever that I was passionate about or knew that I wanted to do. So I had to go through a summer school program. Sorry, there's a bit of an echo. Can you hear the echo?
A little bit.
Okay, if it's not bothering you, then I'm good.
I mean, I can kind of hear it on my side. I don't know if it's like a connection thing.
Yeah, says my connection strong. Sorry, guys.
If you have headphones, maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I do right here.
Awesome.
Sorry, guys.
I guess it's a big echo. Funnily enough, mine's fine, but like I hear you just fine. I don't know why that would be.
Just connect my Bluetooth really quick.
No worries. We'll be right back. Thanks for letting us know, you guys. We definitely want you to hear all of this.
Okay, is that better?
Is that better? It's good for me. Anyone in the chat, give me a thumbs up or something?
I'm still hearing an echo.
I think you sound fine.
Okay. Sorry. So,
Yeah.
What?
Oh, it's still
I'm hearing the echo too.
That's so odd. If you have up like two screens, that's a problem. Like if you're logged into two different tabs for the event, that may be something. Sorry guys, thanks for letting us know.
Can you hear me now?
Is that better, guys? Okay, I think we have it. Apparently it's better.
Can you hear me?
I know, the virtual events every time. I've never seen one that goes.
Sorry, now I can't hear anything.
That's so funny because we can hear you perfectly.
Let me see.
You said, yeah? Are we good now? Well, now you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
You can hear me? Okay, I can't hear you.
Oh my gosh. Let me see what I can do. Can you hear me? No?
I still can't hear anything. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah?
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. And there's no echo.
Love it.
Okay, great. I'm so sorry about that.
No. And also this platform have like messing with audio. So
yeah. Thank you guys in the comments for the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to school to study math, but I had to do a summer school program for my scholarship. So in my summer school program, I had so much free time, and I always loved to draw. And I already knew that I had gotten my first tattoo already. So I was telling everybody there, you know, like when you go to college, you can kind of reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
I was already telling people, like, yeah, I'm a tattoo artist from Chicago, because I knew it was something that I wanted to try. So I had so many of my peers just like super geeked up, like, oh, when does your tattoo stuff get here? When's your tattoo stuff get here? Like they were so excited for me to tattoo them in the dorm room. So finally, when my tattoo kit came, I ordered like this $100 kit, and I had so many of my friends just like waiting in line. And then I told them, like, you know, I had never done this before, but they didn't care. Like they were just super excited for me to practice. So I gave it a try, and then it didn't go so well. But I came back to Chicago and I had a tattoo artist at a professional shop kind of take me under his wing and teach me enough skills. So by the time I went back for the regular semester, I became like the tattoo girl on campus. So I was living like a double life. I was like going to class, and then right after class, like I was focusing on tattoos. So I was never the best student. And from the second I did my first tattoo, I knew this was what I wanted to do as my career. And I would watch so many tattoo artists online who were full time at it, like just killing it. And I was like a half-ass student and a half-ass tattoo artist at the time. So I remember I took my kit to the local tattoo shop in Missouri, in Columbia, Missouri. And I was like, hey, I ordered this kit. Like, you know, I'm just looking for some training. And they're like, well, what are you doing in Columbia, Missouri? I'm like, I go to Mizzou, I study math. And they're like, why do you want to be a tattoo artist if you study math? And like, it just broke my heart, you know, because I was so passionate about it. But it didn't take me long to realize that I could not be the best tattoo artist that I could be while I was a full-time student at this university. So it took me 3.5 years of trying to juggle both to say, like, look, this is what I want to do. I have a great clientele. I'm making money. Like, I had to convince my parents, like, I promise. Because they were like, yeah, you're in college, but tattooing is your hustle. That's your hustle. It's good you got a hustle. And I'm like, no, it's not a hustle. Like, this is what I want to do. And I had to convince them. And finally, they supported me. They're like, look, if you really love this, then come on home. Because I was miserable in Missouri. I felt like I was just in a cage, just ready to be a great tattoo artist, but I couldn't because I was not a professional. I didn't have the professional training. I was still tattooing people in my dorm rooms, and I just wanted to be great. So yeah, after 3.5 years, they gave me that green light, and I quit school. Like, I got all my professors to sign off, all my art professors, because that's all I talked about was tattooing. So all my professors were so excited to sign my little release letter. They're like, you just go and be great. So I left school, and I got hired at a professional shop. And then like 2 weeks later, I got hired at another professional shop. I was working at 2 shops at the same time, just trying to soak up all the knowledge that I could. And then I just kind of hit the ground running. Then like a little later, I think like a year or two later, we got the show. So I remember it wasn't an easy decision to make, you know, to leave school and do it. But I definitely stepped out on faith, and it definitely worked out for me.
Yeah, it sounds like you did a lot of stuff, honestly.
Thank you.
Tell me about your experience at Black Ink.
Say that one more time.
Your experience at Black Ink. Can you hear me, Katrina? Okay, so I think we have to pass the mic back and forth, I think is the situation. Because I think I was echoing a bit before that I heard. Just learning how to function during COVID, like it's so funny. I've used this platform like 5 times too, but you know, something new. Anyways, no, it sounds like you got to a point where it just made so much sense to go ahead and drop out. And I mean, that's kind of how Tattd happened too. I mean, I've had this idea for like 6 years, and it just got to a point where it's like, it didn't make sense to not do it anymore. You know what I mean? It's getting just like ridiculous. But no, I'd love to hear about your experience at Black Ink Crew, and, you know, how you think that sort of changed your career, or, you know, if you would recommend it to other people. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was so grateful at the time that we got Black Ink, because if that opportunity had have come a year or two early when I called myself a tattoo artist, it would have been it would have been like I wouldn't have been ready, you know, but the show came at a great time where I was very, very confident in my work. I knew I did great work, and I was just so ready to showcase the world my talents. So when we got the first phone call about it, we didn't even know what show it was. Like, some producers just called us like, hey, there's a TV network that's interested in you guys. So we were just excited because our shop was literally like the most popping thing in Chicago, and we were just super, super excited for any platform to showcase, you know, what we had. So when we got the TV opportunity, it was just great. I remember one of the first episodes, I got the opportunity to tattoo myself, and I had no idea that that was going to be like such a staple moment for me. But even to this day, people are like, oh, I remember when you tattooed your leg on that show, and like people love that. That was like my big claim. So it was a great experience, like for me as a tattoo artist, to get a reality show that's about tattooing and not, you know, something that was like, you know, something random. So Black Ink was just super fitting because it was about my career. So I didn't care about being an open book and being super transparent about anything that I had going on in my personal life, as long as every episode I got to deliver a great tattoo. That's all I cared about. And it was super beneficial in the beginning. Again, I think the main thing is because it was true to what I did. It wasn't like a Basketball Wives or something that I had no relevance to. You know what I mean? So where they just were looking for cast members. So in the beginning, it was a great experience. And then around season three is when I quit. And that's when I moved to LA. And the opportunity no longer served me. I knew I wanted to move to LA. I knew I wanted to open up my own shop and be great. I tried to tell these producers, like, this is my dream, this is what I want to do, but all they cared about was Black Ink Chicago. They're like, this is a Chicago show, so you have to work at this shop that you started at in Chicago. You can't leave Chicago. And that just didn't work for me, because I'm like, no, I want to be much bigger. I have bigger dreams, and if you guys don't want to showcase that and tell it, and it's, you know, make it organic, then it's just not going to work. So after season 3 was when I decided to step away from the show. Everybody who watches the show know that there was a lot of drama that was starting to happen. It wasn't the same innocent show that we got like season 1. It started to turn into something different. So you just have to know when it's like your time, and then that's what I had to do.
No. I guess after experience, how to create platform. Let me see a second. That's better, baby. I mean, you had a platform to kind of do like almost anything you want, right? You know what I mean? You had so much exposure. So you did have the option, like if you wanted to, like in my head, like you could have just like gone and traveled the world and like created your own brand as, you know, a solo tattoo artist. But instead you opened your own shop, which I think is really, really cool. So tell me about why specifically opening a shop was something that you felt passionately about, that you felt sort of called to do.
So I remember when the original Black Ink came out, not the one that we were on, the Black Ink New York one, and it was the first time that me or any of my peers got to see Black tattoo artists in this light, you know. And then so when we got the opportunity, it was even more of like our mission to like, we're gonna get on this show and like, yeah, we might have drama, but we're gonna do great tattoos because we want to make us look good, you know. So having a platform, because I think Black Ink was literally probably like one of the first platforms that really showcased Black tattoo artists. Even though it wasn't in the best light, it was still a platform. So taking that and then getting all the followers and all the recognition from that show with that platform, I felt like it's my responsibility to keep this going, you know? So I was so scared quitting this show where people watch me on national TV every week, moving across the country. I'm like, are people still going to care about what I'm doing? You know, but I really wanted to just keep it going. So I know when people used to think tattoo artists and tattoo shops, and some of the first tattoo shops I walked in my college town, Columbia, Missouri, they were small, like hole in the wall. And then you hear about Black tattoo artists, and we have like this, people look at us like scratchers, and they don't take us seriously. So I'm like, I
I don't want it to be a hole in the wall shop. I want it to be luxury, like just luxury, elite, top notch. And for me, that was Beverly Hills. Like coming from Chicago, like to LA, it's like, okay, what's the top? Like Beverly Hills. So I scouted the location and I found it, and I had already had a list of like the artists that I wanted to be there. Like I wanted like a dream team of black tattoo artists to just really, really just like dominate. So I just went for it. And yeah, that was like my mission in opening the shop, something that is bigger than just me. And that's what it proved to be. Everything that I saw, my whole vision, bringing us all together is what happened. And Enigma is really, really a respected shop. We have clients from all around the world of all different races and everything. And it's just, people don't look at us as 10 years ago or 11 years ago when I first started, that same shameful look that they used to give us,
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, so I would love to like do a double click into that. Like I definitely have my own thoughts on what it's like to be a female entrepreneur. It's something. But I mean, I think that's amazing, and definitely wanting to sort of like give back, if you will, and give other people opportunities, right? I think that's incredible. And I can imagine how difficult it is to start a shop. You know what I mean? I mean, I know how difficult it is to start, a tattoo app, and that's pretty difficult. So I imagine a shop is also really tough, right? So I guess tell me about your sort of main hurdles or main learnings that you've had from starting the shop, and how maybe that correlates to being a Black female business owner. Honestly, like were there maybe like additional hurdles from that too?
Yeah, so I would say, along with me starting the shop and being in entertainment, like coming off of TV, I learned so much about both entrepreneurship, being a woman in this industry, being a woman of color in this industry. I learned so much. But there were plenty of hurdles. One was staying true to what I wanted to do, because I had the executives like at the top of these huge production companies telling me, you cannot do this, like you can't do this, and this isn't your character, and your character's like just telling me no, and it was unbelievable to me, because as an individual tattoo artist, when you're only responsible for your tattoos, you don't care about, no one else is in control, no one else can control your next success. So when I was trying to reach a new level and I had white males tell me that I wasn't going to do something, like it was very, very discouraging. It was something that I had never experienced before, but I had to just not listen to it, keep going, stay true to what I wanted to do. And then the area that we were in, the location that I found, we got all kinds of just racist like slurs and stuff. We would be over there like getting the shop together, and literally like there would be people like come by and just call the other artists and like all of us. It was really, really bad. Like the racial slurs, all of that was just something that I had never experienced so bluntly. So that was a hurdle that I had to get over. But it's like, no, we're not leaving this location, we're gonna stay right here, and you guys are just gonna welcome us to this neighborhood, and that's what's happened. So that was definitely major hurdles. But the main thing I would think is just listening to people tell me no, and just being resilient, knocking down those doors and doing everything that people said I couldn't, and handling all my business. I had to really, really delegate responsibility to other people, my manager, my attorney. When you're trying to elevate, you have to put people in place. You know what I mean? If you want things to run smoothly. I'm sure, like with creating a whole app and everything, like it's hard being a one-woman show. So you just have to not be afraid to delegate that responsibility to other people. And, and they'll help you tackle all the hurdles that are going to come along with it.
That makes sense. Yeah, God, a good team can go so far. Like I can't speak enough to my mate. Shout out my team who's online right now. Love you guys. Literally, this would not have happened in any way without them. They're amazing. No, but I totally totally like feel what you mean as far as like just staying true to your vision and true to yourself and what you want to be doing, and just the authenticity, right, of like in me. I think about the brand, like the authenticity of the brand sort of on my side, just because there are so many ways that can be skewed, and there's also always so many like opportunities and people I've already had this in positions of power that kind of want you to give up a little bit of that, and like for money or for whatever else, for whatever other reason, they think your brand needs to go one way or the other. And in my head, it's like, why would then it wasn't worth doing this, if I'm not going to stay true to the brand and my vision, then it wasn't worth it. And this is someone else's brand and vision, and all this work that I've done to put in to get there is actually worthless because now I'm just running someone else's company. This makes no sense. So, kind of keeping that in mind has helped me push through, saying no to opportunities that would be really nice to have, but it's just not going to be, it's not going to be what Tattd's about. Like it's not in line with the vision, So I hear you on that, definitely. Kind of speaking to what you're talking about with like having to delegate and learning so much about the business, like, I feel like, at the core, there's like obviously a huge creative side to you, but then also now you're learning both the left and right brain. So how do you sort of balance your business mind and your art? I only have the business. I'm not skilled artistically in any way. So I would love to hear from you about how you sort of balance those two mentalities.
Again, the key word is delegate, like literally, because in the beginning, it's been trial and error. Like it's literally been trial and error. I've been scammed out of thousands of dollars trying to handle my own business, trying to answer my own emails and handle large transactions. Like I've literally, it's been trial and error. So I had to learn like, okay, I have to put people in place. Like, if I'm going to do great tattoos, that's what I need to focus on, So I had to put someone that I trust in charge of my emails. I had to put someone in charge of the large business transactions. I had to put someone in charge of like the publicist and, publicity and things like that for like events and stuff like that. So, I'm still very, very business minded. I feel like I'm an artist and creator, and I'm also like a creator of like my own visions. So like when I want to expand and I'm looking to open more shops, like it's all my vision, it's all my plan, but you put people in place to execute. It's like, okay, this is what like you have meetings, and being a business owner is all about making hard decisions. And that's one thing that I've learned. Like you can't be, especially as women, like we want to be so nice and we want to kind of cater to everyone else and make everyone else happy, but it's literally a matter of taking what's in front of you, making the best decision, and having people execute it for you, So that's how I kind of balance. I still have my alone time. I think my alone time is when I'm the most creative and when I get the most of my ideas. And then I talk to my team about it. I call a meeting, and I'll say, hey, I want to do this. I want to work with this brand. Can we, or I might just be in bed. Like there might be a brand that I'm passionate about that I want to work with, and I'll just write a letter to them out of my heart. You know what I mean? And I'll send it to my team, and they revise and they get it to them, and they connect me with the company, and then that's how things happen. So it's like you keep your creativity, you keep that innovative mind, but you just delegate that responsibility to other people so that I can go to work and focus on this tattoo that's in front of me and know that the business is still being handled at the same time. So
I love that. I love that. That makes so much logistical sense that you still get to have a touch that creative side, even when it is addressing something in regards to business. Like that's very cool. I will ask one more question of my own. And then you guys go ahead and there's like a little ask a question button down at the bottom, you guys. So feel free to throw some questions in there, or throw them in the chat. And we can get those over to Katrina. But the last one is just, what would be like the one ultimate piece of advice that you would give if there is, a Black female or just minority, artist that wants to do what you've done, right? That wants to, be as successful as you've been and maybe open their own tattoo shop. Like what is the one piece of advice you give them?
The main thing I think would be just stay true. If it's something you want to do, perfect it. Make sure that you're great at it, because if you want to do something but you're not doing the work to be great at it, then you're gonna keep being told no, or that you suck, or that you're not good enough. So perfect your craft, like really, really work hard. I worked my ass off. So when it was time, like nobody's gonna tell me no, because I know my work speaks for itself. So stay true. And then I think another huge thing is, if there's something that you're trying to do and be successful at it, it's okay to look for other role models who have done something similar to what you've done, and study them. Like, study them. You know, this day in social media, when there's so many resources, if you can't directly get face to face to a person, find their books, see if they've wrote any books. Kat Von D was one of my biggest role models. I started tattooing again in my dorm room, and I thought that I was hot stuff. Like, I was the little tattoo girl on campus, and then coming home I was the tattoo artist, like, around the hood. And my brother actually went to the library and got me Kat Von D's book, her first book, and he's like, look, you think you're doing it, like, you know, you could be this big, you know. So I read her book, and I was just amazed I remember the first pages of her books, she just posted like the first tattoos that she did. And that made me feel so good, because I'm like, man, she used to be trash too. But to see the empire that she built, you know. So then when I got an opportunity that was kind of similar, when I got a platform, I had already had a kind of like a blueprint to follow. You know, I had a little bit of knowledge. So I think that's a main thing. Reach out to those, you know, who have been successful in the field that you want to be successful at, and just utilize all your resources.
Absolutely. There's like no need to reinvent the wheel. I feel like, you know what I mean? There's so much that people before you went and learned the hard way. You know, there's other things that you will also learn the hard way, but like, if you can reduce that a little bit, it'll be helpful. No, I totally support that one. Let's see. Looks like we have just one question for you. We have from Sasha Moore. Hey, Sasha. I know I'm always learning new things. What is something that you learned recently, like a little tattooing tip or trick? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So one of the artists, oh my gosh, I'm learning stuff every day, like literally every day. We have guest artists who come. My friend Young came in. She's from Korea, but she tattoos in New York, and she introduced me to single needle. Like, I remember when I first started, people were like, you can't get anything smaller than this. And now they have like the fine line tattooing and stuff. So just bringing in all these other artists, I'm constantly learning about all different types of tattooing that I can apply to like my work. So that would be one thing about the smaller needles. Because I'm telling you, I just didn't come up with using anything less than a 7. Like, it was use a 7 for outlines, and that's it. Kevin, he's one of the artists at my shop, and he just had a seminar on red roses. If you look at his page, it's Kevin.Leroy, and he is like a red rose specialist. Like, he is amazing at red roses. And he just held a small seminar on the 3rd, so 2 days ago. And what he taught me about, like, it was the small things. I thought my roses were on point. Like, people come, you know, to LA to get my roses too, but he taught me something so small about applying color on top of each other and blending it out. I know this might not make sense, but that literally just changed the whole way that I'm gonna do a rose now. So that's what I love about tattooing, because my personality, like, once I figure something completely out, I'm kind of over it. But with tattooing, like, I'm constantly learning. It's been 12 years almost, and I'm still learning small little tips and tricks, like mixing red, then the color, then you dip it in the water to blend it, like, and it helps you apply it. Little stuff like that, game changers that I had no idea. So those are 2 things. Sorry, that was kind of long-winded, but yeah.
No worries. I love it. No, yeah, I know Kevin Leroy. I've been following him for a minute. He's amazing. We have one more for you. It is from Xavier. Hey, Xavier. These are all like my people. I know all these people. I love them. But his question is, what is your main inspiration when you have time to freely do your own art outside of tattooing?
My main inspiration is just kicking back and relaxing and just letting it like free flow. So in life, with running a business, with tattooing, I'm always catering. Like my whole profession is taking your idea and making it perfect for you. Everything is just like you're always, even with running a shop, I'm responsible for a whole team now. It's not just me. So with painting, my inspiration is really just like kind of let go. I'm pregnant now, so I can't drink wine, but that's my thing. Like I come home and like I'll have my wine and my music, and for that moment, I'm not worried about pleasing anyone. I'm creating whatever comes from my piece at that time, and I've been lucky enough to create some beautiful stuff that people are interested in and sell. So, but that's my inspiration. Just kind of no pressure.
I love that. That's great. And congratulations as well. So Katrina, it has been more than a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all of your insights and, letting us know how you came to be the amazing person and entrepreneur and artist that you are. I hope everyone learned a lot and loved hearing from Katrina. So we will say goodbye, but then we have some amazing artists. Thank you so much, Katrina, and I'll introduce the next one. Bye. All right, you guys. That was the one and only Katrina Jackson from Enigma Tattoo. You have to follow her at Cat Tat Girl. But we'll email you with all this info too, so we can all connect again about this lovely community. But let me go ahead and introduce our next speaker, Melody Mitchell. Melody is a super talented tattoo artist who was actually also in Black Ink Crew, awesome, who's also always been artistically driven, from music to photography to dance to writing, just everything, super, super talented, but landed on tattooing for the sort of, healing and spiritual connection that tattooing has. And I believe she's also currently building a tattoo sanctuary out in Colombia, which is super cool. And Melody has some incredible color work pieces in her portfolio, and some of them have been done on darker skin tones. And again, like I was mentioning, this is something that unfortunately not every tattoo artist is really educated in. And, I think we can all agree that they should be, so that no one has experience of trying to go to tattoo artists and being turned away, for their skin tone. So Melody is gonna give a quick speech on her ability to do some amazing color pieces on every type of skin tone. And maybe she'll give us some details on this whole sanctuary thing as well, because it sounds really cool. But let me invite her on screen. And I'll be gone for this one, so there won't be as many technical difficulties. Thanks for your patience, everyone. I think me and Melody are the only ones repping the East Coast, actually, as well. So shout out Brooklyn. All right, she's accepting and connecting. It'll take 1 second. And same thing, you guys. Melody will do her speech, and then I'll pop on and ask any questions. If you'll put them in the ask a question box, I'll ask Melody after for the quick Q&A portion.
Hello. Hello. Where you at, girl? I don't see you.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. Hey, Melody, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. How are you today?
I'm good. Just excited to be. I've been planning this for so long, you guys. I'm just like so excited it's here, and we're actually getting to get all this amazing info out to everyone. So.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, it's real. But yeah, so I'm gonna go off screen so you can chat about the artwork thing, and then whenever you're done, I'll come back and I'll ask people's questions. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, let me find where it's like a good place to set up.
No worries. I love the background thing. It's like so Brooklyn. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Totally.
really fire escape. I love it.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the color work, how to do color work on different skin tones.
Ah, okay. Well, practice helps a lot, but I mean, I guess the most important thing on all skin tones is contrast, but especially on darker skin. I think a lot of people, a rule that I learned that helped me out a lot, and this is, you apply it mostly for black and gray, but really it's just the rule of contrast, is you need like 1/3 of your darkest color, 1/3 medium tone, and then 1/3 usually skin tone showing through. Or you can just do your lighter tone if you're completely saturating a piece. But this really allows for there to be good contrast in a piece. And you need that for every skin tone, but much more so for darker skin tones. You need to have contrast. Also, you need to know what colors you can and can't use. And every dark skin tone is not the same. You know, some can have more of an underlying red color, some can have more of an underlying yellow or orange, something usually along those three. And so just because some colors worked on one darker skin tone doesn't mean it will work on another. I will say I've always been more of an adventurous type with tattooing and just in general. So a lot I learned through trial and error. It is what it is. But so definitely don't believe that color is not possible and all of these things, because I know a lot of black people that have contacted me to get tattooed, and they're like, oh, other artists told me I can't get color. And rarely is that completely true. You know, maybe you can't get all the colors, but you can usually get some color, and a lot of times you can get more than you think. Again, I wouldn't go putting in like light purples and stuff like that. And speaking on that, purple is, and I love the color purple, but you know, one of the rules of color theory is complementary colors, colors that are on the opposite side of the color spectrum, like purple and yellow. When you combine them, they make brown. So most skin tones, whether you're white, Asian, mixed, brown, black, blah, 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 have yellow in it. So purple specifically is one of those colors that really gets very muddy on just about a skin tone unless you're paper white. So you always have to look at a skin tone and know that whatever color you see in that bottle is going through a filter. So yeah, that would be like a quick explanation of approaching color on different skin tones, darker skin tones. And of course also, and I love the fact because it also goes along with a lot of African flags, and I don't think it's a coincidence, colors that work really good on black and brown skin are red and green. You can usually always count on those colors. So I will say that as well. Yeah.
And then as I understand it, I think I was talking to, I'll shout out Kara. Kara is one of our amazing ambassadors. And she educated me to the fact that there are different shades of black ink. So you can literally buy darker black ink, like if you're looking for like an outline for your dark skin or something like that. You buy your own color, like a certain texture of color that is, you know, has a selection or have you heard of it?
Oh, you're breaking up on me, but I think you said something about like different black inks are different. Okay, yeah. Some have more of the pigment in them. I use Electra. My baby daddy made the black and gray mix, so that's also why I use them. But it is really great because, and a lot of brands use this, but I honestly have just been using it for so long. But they have an outlining ink and a solid black ink. So they're both blacks, but one is for outlining, one is for like packing in black. And the one that's for packing in black has more of the pigment in it, so it makes it a bit thicker. So generally for lines, you wouldn't want to use that so much because it'll make your lines thicker than you anticipated. But for packing in solid black, it really makes it darker. So yeah, there is there is a difference between black inks as well.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I guess last thing from me, but again, we'll take questions, you guys. So I'll put your questions down there. You have a convention and you're looking for a tattoo artist who does color. Do you need to like color work in the portfolio, or what questions do you ask, or what advice would you give someone who's to find an artist?
Are you saying a brown person finding an artist that does good color? Okay. I mean, yeah, portfolio for sure. You want to have, and also, I mean, we live in the day and age of the internet. Like, do your research. You know, there's so, and also, I really do believe in group economics and things like that. So I think it's important to support your Black artists, especially if you are a Black person looking for body art. So I would say that doesn't always mean they're going to be good. Still, look at a portfolio. Definitely check everyone's portfolio, but if you can find an artist of color, you know, 90% chance they are much more accustomed to it and they're much more passionate about it. So I mean, of course, also I'm from Florida. I live in New York, so I know I'm very lucky. I can find a fucking Pakistani artist if I wanted to, and he's probably right down the street, you know. But even in smaller towns, you know, maybe, and also tattoos are for life, you know, like take a trip, you know, some people go for a road trip. If you can't get a plane ticket, get a bus ticket, take the train, you know, road trip, whatever. But really get it from a good artist. There's so many amazing artists out there. And honestly, I've met them from big towns and small towns. So there has to be one around you, and put the time in for the research, you know.
Absolutely. Just find them on Tattd. You just got to download it.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and with Instagram, all you have to do is look up the hashtag, like melanated tattoo artist, Black tattoo artist, color on black skin. Like, you know, just look up whatever you think, and I'm sure there are plenty of hashtags.
Well, there's also, that's like B2 of that app too. Like, I want you to be able to put that filter on Tattd to be able to find like a female tattoo artist, or a female shop, or a tattoo artist of color, or something like that as well. So look out for it. All right, we have a question from Scott. Thanks, Scott. What is the process for figuring out the specific tones of color that will work with specific skin? So it's like you were talking about how, you know, you kind of have to understand the filter sort of apply, you know, with every color. But what are you like sort of paying attention to there?
I mean, again, it's all, you know, everyone's skin tone is on a gradient. And again, like I said, red and green are usually pretty safe bets. Go for a very red, go for a very green. It's not going to look cartoonish or poppy because it will have that brown filter, so it will give it an earthy tone. This wind is knocking my laptop around. And honestly, again, like I said, I have experimented, you know, don't go charging someone $200 an hour to experiment on them. But, you know, be open, but also, you know, use your brain. Like, if a color has a lot of white in it, if it's like a bright teal or like a seafoam green, you might be able to use it, but you have to blend it into like an emerald green or more vibrant jewel tone green. Like, jewel tones work very well. And a lot of the times I'll pour out colors and you can just try a little bit. And if it doesn't work, then you go for the richer color and you go from there, you know. The biggest mistake is to go too dark, which generally on dark skin, that with color, that wouldn't be the deal. You know, usually if you're going with black or something, that would be the deal. So you have a little bit of time to kind of dip and dab. Also invest in colors for the tattoo artist. Don't have just like 5 colors, you know, invest in 4 different kinds of orange, green, reds, you know, so that you have options, because it does work differently on everyone. And
we might have lost her. No. Let's see. Let me see if Melody's connection will come back up. Sorry, you guys. Again, thanks so much for doing our technical difficulties. All right, we might have lost Melody. Oh no. All right, well, thank you. Oh, wait, I think she's reconnecting because we have one more question to ask and then we'll move on. That is a great question, Angela. Thank you so much. Let's look and see if Melody can answer that for us when she reconnects. All right, so I think we lost Melody, but we will get your questions answered for sure. I want to definitely connect everyone. So after this, look out to your email inboxes on how, I'm thinking of Facebook group. I don't think everyone has Slack, but look out for that soon. So we'll make sure that you get connected to these lovely people speaking today. But for now, thank you so much, Melody, coming to us from the fire escape in Brooklyn, which, I love. Brooklyn's like my home and love, so I resonate with that. But let's move on to Ivana Belakova. Ivana is the first and only woman, this is amazing, the first and only woman in the world to have her tattoo artistry recognized as contemporary fine art by the Macro Museum in Rome. So what an accomplishment. She has an incredible, unique sort of like street style color work tattoos in her portfolio that are just absolutely breathtaking. She's been featured in so many exhibitions around the world and won so many awards, wildly talented. And she's here to do a technical deep dive into how exactly she creates those incredible works of art that she does. So let's invite Ivana onto the screen. One sec, you guys. Let's see. All right, I don't see Ivana right here. No, wait, here she is. Just kidding. Lovely. So that is coming up soon. And same drill, you guys. Hey, Ivana, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing very good, doing very good. So for this one, it'll be less question answer if you want to take the screen and give everyone your spiel on your technical deep dive. And then you guys, same thing, we're ask some questions in our little ask the question box, and I'll come back up when you're done, Ivana, and get a little Q&A going. Yeah?
Sounds good. So thank you for the introduction, by the way. So you guys probably heard what I'm doing. And so I said a little intro about myself. I'm a tattoo artist originally from Slovakia, but at the moment I'm living in Los Angeles, where I have my own studio called Ivana Tattoo Art. And I'm specializing, or what I'm known for, is my unique style of tattooing. So I create contemporary tattoos, and I would say it's a combination of few different elements together. I'm mixing kind of street art, traditional, cartoon, little bit of realistic, graffiti, illustrations, and it's kind of like all together. So I actually call my tattoos, besides they are contemporary, I call it organized chaos. But everything I feel it's the elements are not overpowering each other. Everything is kind of like in the perfect balance. And the way also how I create my tattoos, it's because I work with the, I would say, with the energy of the people. I work with the shape of the body, with the color of skin, obviously. So there is few different elements. What makes my tattoos outstanding, I would say, or kind of like what it makes it to be my own unique style. I'm tattooing for over 20 years. I would say about 22 years now, 21, 22 years now. And I still have such a huge passion for tattooing, and I'm still kind of like learning new things and developing, not necessarily like a new techniques, but there is always something new which I'm putting into my tattoo, so it's not boring to look at. So during my career, I was doing, in beginning, all sorts of different things. I was doing only black tattoos. I was doing, I don't know, like traditional tattoos, but traditional cultures like Maori tattoos or Polynesian tattoos. I used to travel all around the world, so I pick up all of these different things from my travels. And during these past 20 years, I was kind of like a coining my own style. So I'm specializing for color, like I said, but I'm very versatile, so I can create any kind of tattoos, whether it's black and gray, or even if it's some sort of, like, I would say, I don't know, geometrical tattoo, but it's always have my own twist. And this is what I'm really being true to myself. At this point of my career, I only do things what I enjoy. So even if somebody find me and want me to do some, let's say, I don't know, like a super realistic tattoo, or somebody wants like a traditional piece or something, I always say that I'm staying true to my style. So basically, it is my interpretation of something. So what is very important when it comes to my work, it's a freedom. It's a freedom of creation. And just to give you a little bit technicalities about how I create my pieces. So everything starts in the head. Like I kind of like see it already. I'm having, I don't know, I'm inspired by life. Everything around me, everything inspires me. The buildings, I don't know, the beautiful weather, plants, animals, people, even the events, even something what we are going through now, like during this COVID and everything. So I can kind of turn that negative emotion and turn into something positive. All of my work is super fun to look at. It has kind of like I would say, a childish joy, I would say. So, like I said, I can transfer this negative energy onto positive. So when you look at my tattoos, it makes you smile, it makes me feel good, and I think it's also like a reflection how I feel inside. So everything from the inside, I'm putting onto the skin, and we mix all of these inspirations what I had. Life itself is the biggest inspiration for me. So also I think I would call it maybe my gift, what I have when I meet directly my client. I pick up energy straight away and I see the colors. So I never really had any formal art training, or I don't study colors. I don't have these color wheels or anything like that, but I see colors. So when I meet person, pretty much I'm just translating what I see onto him. And many times after I finish tattoo, almost all of the times, it's like, oh my God, like, how did you know that? That's my color. And it's easy for me because I can see it. So I think this is another thing what helps my work to be unique and original. Okay, so this is how I choose my colors. It really depending, I can pick up energy of the client. So somebody can be more, I would say, funky. Somebody has this young energy. Somebody can be more reserved. And this is also things what helps me to create specific tattoos for them, because it's literally like if you go to buy suit, or yes, if you go to buy a suit, but you want to have it customized, so everything has to be perfect. It's a tailored for the individual. Everybody is very unique. Everybody's individual. So for me, it doesn't exist that I just pick up some tattoo and smack it on somebody. Like it has to have. I have a reason of doing things. I have a reason of applying colors when I do my shading, color layering. This is the first things again what I'm look for. So I pick up on the energy, I can see the colors, and then kind of I just see it in my head what I'm going to do. And I have to work with the body. So everybody has different body shape, everybody has different skin tone. But just to make it clear, I'm definitely focusing more. I don't want it to sound any bad, but just because of my technique of the layering and that painterly look, how I create my tattoos, I definitely require more white skin. The whiter the skin, the better for me, because it's this kind of like a brushes or the technique I'm using. Like I said, I cannot do it on really dark skin or on the darker skin, because it's different texture also. So not the color, but also texture is different. As you see, that's why when you see all of these beautiful colorful tattoos in my portfolios, majority of that, at least 80%, is like really, really white skin. But of course I tattoo darker skin too, but then I have to adjust. Like Melody was talking before about creating colorful tattoos on the dark skin. So yes, there is some, I would say, restrictions or things you have to look at. Versus if I have a super white skin, it's just so much easier, obviously. And I'm paying attention to the shape of the body, to the size, and I always say the bigger piece I'm doing, the better for the client, because it has to kind of like a follow of the shape of the body. Example, I cannot create or I don't want to create small tattoo on the back. to be at the back, because from the aesthetic point of view, when somebody look at it, firstly I want people to see like, okay, so what is it actually? So it has to enhance the beauty of the body, and it has to be proportional. So like I said, I'm not going to put something super small on the back, because then I actually aesthetically do not like it so much. So this is also thing I'm very aware of when I'm creating my pieces. And from the technicalities, like I said, I already know the colors. I already see in my head what I'm going to do. I do not draw anything. I don't draw any of my designs. So when somebody wants to get a tattoo done from me, I require 2 words usually, and that's it. And many times I'm also pick the placement, what I kind of see like where it will be, where it would look nice on the body. Of course, it depends on my clients. Some of the clients are super open-minded, but either way, I always have to have artistic freedom. Otherwise, I do not want to create any tattoo. More artistic freedom, not more. When I have artistic freedom, always magic happens. That's just how it is, because I'm really just freely creating what I want, and I'm using skin as my canvas. So once I decide for the placement, I have the picture. Like I said, I do not draw anything. I'm working out from references. I put some elements together. Sometimes I do freehand. Like I said, because I don't want to even draw anything, because once I put it on the body, like maybe it's not going to be suitable enough. So I just kind of like use the main image. I make stencil just for proportions, and then everything else I'm just making it up as I go. So many times I don't know, I kind of have like a vague imagination how it's going to look like, but many times I actually do not know how tattoo is going to be as a final result. So I'm creating, I'm tattooing as I go. And many times happen because I always do more than one session because of the layering of my colors. I can even change it. Sometimes my next session, I can change the color. Sometimes I can put different stuff into my tattoos, etc. So that's why I really don't know what is the final result going to be like. My only goal is to make the best suitable, original and unique tattoo for an individual. So this is always my final goal. And how I get there, I really don't care, because it depends on how I feel. So this is also the reason why I never can create 2 pieces, 2 the same tattoos. I cannot, because the energy, let's say when today I feel certain way, so I will create some piece. Tomorrow I cannot reproduce it. So actually I cannot reproduce after myself, because tomorrow wasn't yesterday. So I do not have that same, let's say, energy. I do not have the same vision. I don't have the same feeling. So this is another thing about my pieces. I do not create the same piece. It's always different. And it can be, let's say, the same, let's say, topic. If I create, like, of course, I did like hundreds of birds. I did hundreds of flowers. And it can be the same, let's say, but it's not the same. It's always different. Either I change the colors, I put different elements there, and everything, like I said, it's always tailored for an individual. And with the, let's say if I have all of this stuff together, so like I said, I'm working on from references, and I make usually stencil only from for the main, like let's say if I tattoo portrait, of course I need to have the exact proportions. So in that case, I only do stencil of that. Everything else I will make up there, whether it's freehand or whether I put like a different stencils there's around, it doesn't matter. But just for that proportion is very important to me. And another thing is because I'm creating layers and it looks kind of like I would say painting my tattoos. What I'm doing, I do sketch. So I'm not committed 100% to the black lines. I dilute black color with glycerin, so maybe I have like a 30 or 50% wash. It depends what I'm doing. And I literally create sketch. And from that sketch, once I have it on the skin, because I know I'm not going to lose proportions, I will dip into 100% black, and then I'm creating hard lines. So because not necessarily all of the lines I want to have committed. And once I have that black, I put all of my blacks down. Whatever's supposed to be black is black. And also another thing about my work is I actually put lots of black into my tattoos. I know it looks so like super colorful, and people have a misconception about my tattoos. They call it watercolor, and I must tell you, it is not watercolor at all. And you can check my work after 10 years or whatever, 20 years, 30 years. I do not care, and I can guarantee you it's going to look solid and nice. Of course, the colors will fade a little bit, but because of the black, because I have I creating that structure, I call it structure and frame. So there is so much black into my tattoos that they will look good, and it's not like a watercolor. nothing's wrong with the watercolor, because if you know how to do it and if you put enough contrast there and the saturation, is going to stay. But like I said, black is very important. Black is the most important in my work. It has to be there. Also because of the dynamic of the piece. So when, just to give you an example, when I'm not putting enough black into my work and I look at the piece, for me it's weak. So I love strong dynamics. So like I said, when somebody look at it, it's like boom, like it literally jumps into your face, or it's so appealing for the eyes, for the aesthetics. So black is very important. So first I always apply black as much as possible. And then how I do, I literally create, it's for me, it's like a painting. Few of those, or if you guys paint, you know how you dip and mix the colors. That's how I do it. Even my table, my workspace is absolutely mess, but it's organized mess again, just like my tattoos. I dip. So let's say sometimes you see red color in my tattoo, but it is 5 or 6 different colors. I mix, let's say, I will give you examples so you understand what I'm doing. I put dark red, ruby red, heart orange, pink, yellow, and I just dip, and it actually doesn't have any kind of organization or any kind of like step by step. I just do it kind of like how I feel. So I dip many times, and then I just look at my needles. That looks good, and then I start putting it on the skin. So what I want to say by this, again, I'm just showing you how free you can be when you create the tattoos, because firstly, get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes not necessarily what you heard, it kind of like you can apply for yourself. So I would encourage tattoo artists also to experiment. It's okay if sometimes maybe something doesn't work or whatever, but then you learn. But of course, if you can learn from somebody who work you admire, somebody who's like really great artist, and they do something what you want to do, then I absolutely recommend to learn from them. I'm also teaching seminars. I'm teaching I call it funky color seminars all the time. So my recommendation would be learn from the best so you can avoid some sort of mistakes. But let's say if you do not have that opportunity, then experiment. I never took any course. I started literally tattoo my brother and my friends. That's how I get into tattooing. And I was going from every possible style you can imagine until I actually developed my own style. And it came to me naturally. It wasn't like I was planning for it or anything. It naturally kind of surfaced how I felt inside. So it's literally matched my personality, my thinking, my outlook on life. So that's something what kind of naturally happened. And then of course I was just kind of like, I would say, narrowing it down, fine tuning it. So it's kind of like perfect the way I want to have it. But definitely I would suggest experimenting. Like I said, if you don't have that option of learning, although I would be very surprised because there is so much free information. Just to give you a little scoop, you can visit my YouTube channel, Ivana Tattoo Art, and I have so many videos there. If you can just kind of like look at my technique, how I do it, how I implement ink, you can see it in the videos. And there is also some sort of, I would say, free seminars. So like I said, there is almost no excuse not to find information. Information can be for free. So this is kind of like how I do my tattoos pretty much, and when it comes to layering, of course, I put darker tones first. So I would apply, obviously, all of the blacks first. Then let's say if I have like a dark blues or dark purples or dark reds and stuff like that, that will go first. And then I will go to the lighter tones a little bit. But everything looks kind of like, first session is always kind of sketch for me. So like I said, it is committed, but not too much committed, because I know, like, I let the tattoo heal about 2 months. Let's say after 2 months, my client come back and I just knock it down completely. So I will create even more contrast with the darker tones. I will create even more saturation and fine tuning again. So all of my pieces, if it's small, I don't know, let's say even 3 inches tattoo, I definitely require second session. Happen to me sometimes, like, okay, people don't get it when I'm traveling or something, which is pity, because they think it's good, but they don't understand actually it's probably around 40 or 60%, let's say, from the 100% how beautiful it can be. So always 2 sessions at least. For the bigger pieces, obviously, I require more sessions, but 2 sessions is basic for me. So the first time it looks almost finished, but for me it's not finished. Second time I create, when I do second session, I put more contrast. The dynamic is going to be stronger. I put another layer of the inks and fine tuning it. So this is literally how I create my contemporary tattoos. I call it funky color tattoos. And also what helps me is to have not different perspective but different outlook. So let's say when I'm doing tattoo, and for me it's painting, it's almost never ending, so I literally have to stop myself mentally. I have to literally stop myself. I'm like, okay, that's enough, like, because it's very important not to overdo your piece. Sometimes people have a problem like to put, let's say, lots of white ink, and in my opinion sometimes like you don't need so much white ink. It doesn't last anyway too much on the skin. It's supposed to be, in my opinion, for highlights or maybe just a little enhancement, like when you do eyes or something. So that's okay, but not like a superly overly white. Or sometimes they put lots of I find like when I see some tattoos, what people do mistakes is create heavier background than the actual piece. So this is something what I would definitely suggest you pay attention to. Is, I will give you example. Let's say you cook pasta and you don't want to like overpower, like if you put too much salt, you overpower the pasta. So actually you don't taste the pasta, you taste the salt. And this is the same with tattoos. You have to be careful to pay attention. Okay, what is the main image here? So that main image, you should pay focus to that, and the background should just enhance it versus the other way around. So let's say if you do very heavy background, that main picture, what's supposed to be pretty much the focus of everything, it kind of get lost. You know what I'm saying? So this is one thing I think people should pay attention to. Like I said, I mix so many different elements together and I create all of these crazy backgrounds, yes. But when you look at it, the background never really overpowers the main image. It just enhances. And last thing I want to say is, like I said before when I was talking about it, I have to literally stop myself of being like putting maybe too much of something. So I stop myself and I take a step back. Literally, I look from the distance, because sometimes I tattoo for, I don't know, 5 hours straight, and I'm just staring at the particular area of the little, let's say like a palm tattoo or something. So my vision is a little bit different. So I always step aside, look at it from the distance. This is one trick what helps me. Another one, I pull up my phone and I take photo. And for some reason, the perception is different again. I look at the picture on my phone and I say, oh, I see exactly maybe what's missing, or maybe this needs to have a little bit something, you know, maybe some different color or something. So this is how I do it. And then when I'm happy, when I step aside, I look at it, then I look at my phone, I'm like, okay, this part a little bit, I will do it on the tattoo, then I take phone again, I snap the photo, look at the photo again. I don't know what is it, but when I snap the picture and the perception is different, I see right away what it's missing or what I can improve on that particular piece to call it quits. It's done and done. So I look at the photo, when I'm happy, that's for me. Then that's when I tell my client I'm done, and I put my machine down and I don't do anything else. So this is just a little bit scoop. Of course, I can talk about this for days, but this is just a little scoop, so you get idea how I create my contemporary pieces.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ivana. That was
a long speech.
No, it's great because it was also specific, and it's also, I mean, I'm not a tattoo artist by trade, but it's also stuff that I've never heard before, which is very cool. Like the phone trick is amazing, and you guys, Ivana's so right. If you look at her work, like it literally feels like it's jumping out at you. Like it has sort of a 3D almost effect. Like that's how intensive it is.
And it's my style. You know, when somebody sees my tattoos, you know it, you recognize. I have people all over the world. Sometimes my client meet, and it can be somebody literally from Australia and somebody from America, and it happens to me many times. Like people are traveling and they see like, oh, is that Ivana? Like, you know, right away, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. I agree. It's some incredible stuff. So thank you so much for sharing. I think we have one question for you, Ivana. This is from, I think Xavier had a question. He might have deleted it, but I think he was asking about whenever you're applying the color, like being careful, I guess, not to go too deep into the skin to kind of cause trauma to the skin. I know that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if that's something that you've ever had issue with.
Yes, absolutely. But also it depends what machine do you use, you know? So I'm using Chainsaw Nova, which is very nice, and you can control how fast, how deep it goes. So you have to figure it out. And this is always tricky with the skin because everybody has different skin, you know? Some skin is softer, skin is thicker, it has different texture, different color, but it's the texture. So that's what you have to pay attention to. And I think this is something, like I said, I'm tattooing for over 20 years. And this is always something I have to kind of figure it out. So it's really hard to say, but you can adjust your machine. So in that case, it shouldn't be problem. Like maybe don't run it too fast, don't run it too deep, just go a little bit slower and create layering, you know?
Sure, absolutely. Amazing. Thank you so, so much, Ivana. It was such a pleasure. I know everyone loved to hear from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Amazing. That was so interesting and enlightening. And you guys have to go check out her work. And I think, you know, if you haven't seen it yet, a lot of what she was talking about will make so much sense, right? But now, last but not least, for our speakers, we have Phillip Fabian. Phillip is a tattoo artist currently based in San Francisco, but has experience working all over the world in Berlin, Sydney, Prague, Barcelona, London, maybe even other places that I don't know about, maybe more. But he does some amazing work at Black and Blue Tattoo in San Francisco, concentrating in watercolor, dot work, abstract, and fine line tattooing. And he's here to tell us about the international tattooing scenes, right? So as you might imagine, each city has its own personality, right? It's always very like NYC, VLA, or whatever. So I'm sure the tattooing community differs as well. So let me invite Phillip up so we can hear about his experience. Lovely. Hey, Phillip.
Everybody,
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Long time no talk.
Yeah.
You guys, Phillip is also a Team Tattd ambassador, FYI. So we know each other definitely. But I'll let you take the screen, if you will, take the proverbial stage, and let everyone know about the international tattoo scene.
Okay, I'll go for it. Thank you. Hi guys. So my name is Phillip Fabian. I was born in a small city in Slovakia. When I started tattooing about 12 years ago. My cousin has a shop in my country, back in my city I'm from. So I got my first tattoo and I fell in love with that, and I bought my tattoo machine, and that's how I started. I created my first tattoo for me. It was not good at all. I just tried the technique and how does it work. I was just trying to understand it. Back in like 12 years ago, I was studying design at the university. It was graphic design, visual communication. So that gave me a lot of basics I'm using for my tattoos, and understanding about composition and colors and lines and how does it work. After university, I haven't finished school because I felt like it's like I have two different things to focus on. So I focus on the tattoos, and so I left the school and I moved to Prague. When I started at the tattoo shop, the well-known shop in Prague, that was the biggest step I did in my career, and that was my start, like professional start. And I've been working in Prague for 5 years. I was just discovering and learning how does it work and how should I do the straight line and like the colors. So I met plenty of people in the shop, plenty of amazing tattoo artists they were working there at the time, and so we talk a lot about the technique. We talk about the colors, and yeah, that was really inspiring for me. And after 5 years in Prague, I started traveling more and discovering other places in the world. I spent 5 months in Berlin. That was a cute little shop in Kreuzberg when I met amazing artists again, and it just felt really great to discover other culture in the world. After Berlin, I went to Australia, and it was a 10 months of my life I spent there, which was amazing. It was warm. It was great weather and nice people, and so I would say they're more like Australians in general, if I can say that this way. Are more relaxed. It's most like beachy feeling. So they're looking for. First time I discovered a single line tattoo in Australia, and so I learned that and I use it in my works. Right now, I do mostly colors. I do sort of like watercolors. I combine a few techniques together. I'm using fine lines, and I'm using like geometric shapes in my tattoos. I always work with a client idea. So when somebody asks me for a small wave, I'm trying to create something unique and something unusual and something unseen, right? Something I'm happy with that, and my client is happy with that. Yeah, that was really interesting step I made in Australia, and then I went to Bali, Indonesia, which has, of course, all the places in the world has different energy, and that inspires me a lot. Bali was specifically, I think it's specifically known for, there are like plenty of people like doing yoga, and they're free, and they're looking for more spiritual way of life. So also I did a guest spot there, and also 2 weeks I spent there, which was really inspiring, and I was really happy with all the clientele I got in there. And now I'm based in San Francisco, which is I think I like the San Francisco the best of all the places I've been to. I feel more creative than I felt like ever before. So I got plenty of clients asking me for and letting me to do my work on them. With, of course, I work with ideas they bring into me, but I try to create my vision, and I transfer my vision on the skin. San Francisco has a big LGBT community. It's really open, and has many people, and they love tattoos. I feel like they just love it, and so I feel really grateful. I was able to find a right shop in here for me, because that's really important for me to find a shop and good people around. I wouldn't be working in some random old school shop. I mean, I'm not judging. It's just not my way of seeing things. Black and Blue Tattoo as it was founded 25 years ago, which is pretty amazing, and it has a community around. There's a exhibition room at the front of the shop where the exhibitions are happening. So I'm planning one. Besides the tattooing, I do illustrations. I do design, graphic design. So I create some layouts and covers for the albums, which I'm working on right now. Yeah, at the end, I would say I'm really grateful to be here and having all the people around me, which like really pushing me forward and giving me more opportunity to grow as an artist, which is pretty amazing. That I've been in San Francisco for 1.5 years, and I'm pretty booked out right now at the moment. So I guess people are happy with their tattoos, and I love working with them, and I love meeting people and meeting this energy they have, and everyone's different, of course. So it's really versatile and diverse for me, and I feel really happy with that. So no more travels for now. Maybe after COVID time, that will be easier to travel. I think that's all from my side. If you have any questions, just please feel free to ask me.
I'm back.
Hi.
Yeah, you guys, feel free to throw any questions in the ask the question box. I guess I have some questions actually. Were any of the places that you work, because I find that so interesting, and I love traveling, and I love sort of noticing the differences and similarities. Was any of the locations where you worked like hyper competitive? Because I like, obviously Bali is like very zen and whatever, but like what was maybe a more like maybe intense, maybe like competitive type of tattoo experience? Like were any of the places like that?
Well, I would say Berlin. Berlin has over 1,000 tattoo shops, which is pretty amazing. Like how many tattoo shops Berlin has, it's huge. So the tattoo culture is huge, right? So I found it a little competitive. I mean, yeah, people are like looking for the best artists, and the artists they're like, yeah, trying to compare their works to each other or to another artist, right? So I found Berlin that way.
Yeah. And then like cities,
Uh-huh.
I guess being here in New York and starting Tattd, and I already knew a handful of tattoo artists, but like with Tattd, I'm really in there. You know what I mean? So it does feel like a small world, though. At least here in the scene in New York, where like everyone can, and I mean, no one can know every single artist that lives in the city, but you know what I mean? Like most people kind of know one another, and we're kind of finding all these circles for Tattd as we expand. Do you find that's true for every city? Does every city kind of have a semi-connected tattoo community, or is some of the cities like more disjunct?
I think tattoo community works overworked, so it's I found it like it's all the same. I mean, in all the cities are tattoo artists. I mean, they know each other, right? So it doesn't have to be competitive, right? But they know each other, which is great. That's how I was able to travel, right? Because I just reached them out and they get back to me, right? So I think that's real nice about the tattoo culture in general. You're able to travel with your tattoo machine, right? And discovering places around the world and like expand your clientele around the world, right? So let's say if I'm coming back to Australia again, I believe there will be like plenty of people wanting a tattoo from me, right? Because I spent there a year. So I think that's great. I really enjoy that, having the clientele like spread out on the world.
And then once everything kind of like goes back to normal post-COVID, are you going to be tattooing internationally again? Like, are you trying to do guest spots around the world?
I think I'll focus on the US.
Yeah.
At the moment, so definitely I would love to visit New York, having a guest spot in there, and yeah, some other places in US. So I'll stay here in US for a while, and internationally maybe in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done 5 years of traveling, so I'm like kind of feel like I should settle down a bit, and not being crazy with that. But,
Fair,
I mean, I love traveling, but right now it feels like I should be here, and it's a good place for me. I just feel it here the most.
Absolutely, I love SF for sure. That sounds great. Well, I'm sure we'll see each other soon on one of these two coasts that we're in. So thank you so much, Phillip. That was amazing to hear. Amazing experience. Thank you so much for sharing. And
thank you. Thanks, Laura. Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Amazing. Thank you. Shout out to all of our speakers. Thank you so much. Just amazing people, amazing artists. I hope everyone, took something and learned something. And I'm just so happy to connect everyone. So now actually we have a word from our sponsors. If you haven't heard, this is all brought to you by the one and only Hustle Butter, the leading tattoo aftercare brand. They're actually going to join us and share some insights along with a tattoo artist of theirs, insights on tattoo healing and how to sort of best use their aftercare products. So let me invite them on screen. They should be coming up in just a few minutes. You guys have to stay tuned for our competition winners being announced after this, FYI. Here we are. Hey, Richie, how's it going?
Hey.
Hey, so nice to see you. I think Pierre should be joining.
Check. Hello.
Hey, I think we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
And who do you have joining you? I know Pierre should be connecting soon.
Yeah, Pierre, excuse me, Pierre Bustos. He's better known as my right hand. He's our shop manager, our artist team coordinator for Hustle Butter,
Wow.
our international artist team coordinator, and also the keeper of the scrolls down at Hustler's Parlor at NYC.
Nice. I love that. Quite a role. That is so great. I think it's still accepting his connection. He might have to make sure he has a strong connection there. But yeah, I didn't know that you're international as well. You said international artist?
Oh yeah, we are most definitely international. Hustle Butter is used everywhere where there's people. So there might be a spot on like the North Pole somewhere where there aren't any people, and that's probably where you won't find Hustle Butter. But Hustle Butter is, I mean, in the last 9 years, I've been to everywhere but Asia, Australia, Europe several times, all over the United States, tons of places, too many to remember. And I miss it. Everybody's super shell shocked, but we put in a lot of work. We put in a lot of miles. We got a lot of air miles personally. And my brother, my partner, Seth Love, we traveled the globe personally, bringing butter for artists to try. And that's the only way you can dominate the world, is you have to go around the world and do it. You have to touch those places. So through the grace of God and through safe travels, Hustle Butter is global.
Amazing. I love it. So good to see you, Pierre. How's it going on your end?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Pierre. So Pierre is a jack of all trades. He, like I said, he runs our tattoo section, handles all the artists. He can be found at what's your Instagram, buddy?
Lotus Onyx.
Lotus Onyx on Instagram. He is a fantastic artist. I know Pierre 24 years. We've been together. So loyalty makes us family. And ever since we had our New York tattoo shop, originally in Brooklyn, Pierre has been with us since day zero. And he's been with us how many years at the parlor?
5 years now.
Pierre. Yeah.
Yeah,
How many years have you been
years.
tattooing? Okay. So it's been a really long time. And before that, Pierre and I worked in the New York scene many, many years ago. In the early 90s, and Sacred Tattoo and Triple X Tattoo, and we're definitely part of the original New York tattoo scene.
Bill, the New York Tattoo Convention, the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, we were involved with that. Right, I forgot about that. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, we were involved with the. We worked for Wes Woods, who was the owner of Sacred, the first incarnation of Sacred. Before, when tattooing went legal in 90, was it 7?
Yeah.
Tattooing went legal in 97, and Wes Woods opened what's called the Broadway Tattoo Theater. And it was on Broadway right across the street from Yellow Rat Bastard. And it was just a bunch of like this big like room, and they just put like booths in there, like a flea market, and he had artists tattooing in there while he was building the spot. Like the day it went legal, that like the next day, like people were tattooing on Broadway in New York City. So nonetheless, I've been around for a really long time in the tattoo community. We're tattoo dinosaurs at this point. And I'm not a tattooer. I've always been on the business side. I never had money to pay for my tattoos, so I would give out flyers. I would be the barker, if you will, bringing people in the shops. You know, I supported artists through promotional ways and doing things in the shop and things of that nature. So I've been supporting tattooing for a long time in a different way. So we have our own pedigrees, and through that, we were there at the time with all the tattoo gods now, if you will. They were our friends. They were the guys that we came up with. So it's just good to be around. It's good to still be around and to be a part of the tattoo industry with our hustle butter. We made the first petroleum replacement tattoo product for the industry in 2012. Everybody was still tattooing with petroleum, Vaseline, A&D, these type products. Really bad for your skin, clogs your pores. People having bad heals. I'm a professional tattoo healer because I'm tatted up. So I know how to heal a tattoo. You know what I mean? I've spent a lot of time healing tattoos. So has my brother. So we saw the need, so we created something organic. I know about shea butter from being a Latino. You know, Latino, every burn, everything, you put a little cocoa butter on it. So I had a little sense, a little knowledge. We did some research. In 2012, we developed this product, petroleum-free, called Hustle Butter Deluxe. It was just a product. I was giving it to my friends to tattoo with and tell me what they thought about it. You know, want to heal. And then one of the guys that I gave it to is an artist named Rob Hill in Ventura, California. He called me up one day and he was like, "Hey man, you can tattoo with this also." He was like, "I tattooed with it." So then we knew we had something else. And then, you know, we tweaked it a little, made it a little harder, made it a little softer. And then we realized we had the first all-in-process product, meaning you can tattoo with it and you heal with it and you moisturize with it. One product, almost foolproof, if you will. Great for all skin types, especially drier skin, because it's good for your skin. It wasn't designed something so much for healing tattoos, but we wanted something that was good for the skin. Anything that can heal skin is going to work great on a tattoo. So we purposely made it for the proper consistency for artists to tattoo with it, and something that would be easy for someone to handle and heal with it. And 9 years later, we're #1 bestseller on Amazon. So that's not my opinion. You know, those are facts. We're available in Ulta Beauty, and we've developed a whole line of products since then. A wash, We've developed Hustle Bubbles Deluxe, which has been clinically tested that kills the COVID-19 virus in like 90 seconds. We've been doing a lot of work. This was the original Hustle Butter Deluxe. Then this is our new baby, Hustle Butter CB Deluxe. And Pierre, are you there, buddy?
I'm here, buddy.
I want you to talk about the differences that you've seen between petroleum tattoo, regular tattooing, and tattooing with Hustle Butter.
So what I've noticed is it completely changed the game. As far as when you're tattooing, skin would get very red and irritated, especially if you're doing like black and gray work, if you're doing color work. So ever since I started using Hustle Butter, it brings that swelling down within minutes. Like you're done with a tattoo, you put it on, let it sit for like 15 minutes. You take an amazing picture, the redness is gone, the irritation is gone, the swelling's down. So just working on clients for many hours, you can do more work without damaging the skin. It doesn't erase your stencil. You know, like petroleum products, they clog the pores, they make your skin sweat more because it's trying to breathe through it. With Hustle Butter, it's the opposite. So you can work longer, and clients love it.
Do you find
get any bad feedback from it?
Do you find your tubes ever getting clogged or anything like that?
No, because it's so thin and smooth that it's easy to clean up off your equipment. Like before, you know, my ink would almost like dry up, if you will, and constantly like cleaning the tube, cleaning the needle. I don't have that issue, so it flows easier. You know, it helps so the ink goes into the skin way smoother.
And your healing recommendations with Hustle Butter.
The healing is great. You know, like it cuts down heal time by like half. Within 5 days, people are already starting to like have a light peel, no heavy scabbing. Because what I would have a lot of issues with petroleum products is that people would tend to put too much cream on, and then they would break out in pimples, get more irritation, and the colors would always heal really like more like faded. Whereas with Hustle Butter, I have the opposite. I rarely have to touch anything up, you know. So it's,
well, that's because you're a fantastic artist, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a combination of
a lot of it is artist technique and application. But as far as when we bring people from, like, you've traveled all over the world, what's some of the feedback? Like when people who don't know you and then you roll up somewhere, wherever in China or wherever, and they know you're with Hustle Butter, like what's some of the feedback you get worldwide?
It's always good. People are like open arms, they get excited. They're like, oh my God, you work for Hustle Butter? It opens so many doors because people love the product. When I go to Asia, they love it. They love it. Anywhere I go, I never get bad feedback, you know. And just watching what all these amazing artists around the world are doing with the product. And, you know, like you see tattoos nowadays that are just like mind-boggling. It's a whole other level.
It's true, man. And it's all about tattooing and how it's progressed. Pierre, I really, really, really appreciate it. I don't know how much time we have. Give Pierre a follow at Pierre, Lotus Onyx. Give us a follow at the Parlor, Hustlers Parlor NYC. Parlor spelled Parlor, because we fancy. If you want a fancy deluxe tattoo experience, you contact Hustlers Parlor or Pierre here, or myself at Bulldog Pro on Instagram, and we'll get you booked in. We have artists, hustle butter artists from all around the world come in and get tattooed with us. Book in with us all the time. You can also follow us on Hustle Butter Deluxe.
Absolutely. I recently got a tattoo. I'll shout it out because I also know Hans.
Oh, it's Hustle Butter Deluxe. Hustle, available at Ulta. Vegan, petroleum-free, cruelty-free, and it smells like Jamaican Angel.
Smells delicious. And we're like almost losing him. But yeah, this was one of the first tattoos that I used it on during the healing process, and it flaked. This is by Hans, who's online. Hey, Hans. But it flaked a million times less than any of sort of my other tattoos during the healing process. So the quality is real. And also everyone that is in attendance will get a Hustle Butter discount code for 20% off on hustlebutter.com. That's valid for the next 3 days. So get yours. But yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining, Pierre.
Thanks for having us. Really
absolutely. Thanks for wherever he went. Appreciate it. All right, bye. All right, that was Hustle Butter. Give them a good follow. Last but absolutely not least, you guys, I know what everyone has been waiting for. We have our competition winners to announce. Let me share my screen so I can show you these amazing people. All right. So, tattoo competition winners. So, for those of you who don't know, we had a tattoo competition. And we had some amazing entrants. What we have are 5 categories, and we have 5 winners in each of those categories. And then out of those winners, there's an ultimate winner of the grand $500 cash prize, right? Everyone will get a large amount of Hustle Butter products. So thanks, Hustle Butter. So all of our winners will get that. But we will have one ultimate winner. So let's take a look at the first winner, who is for Americana, Real Wolf. Real Wolf is from Denver, Colorado. She's an incredible tattoo artist who does a lot of sort of bold lines and colors, and also tattoos with a lot of like LGBTQ types of themes. She's absolutely amazing. Check her out at Arts and Witchcrafts. Thanks so much, Rio. Next for Black and Gray, we have Bang, Shavana Rhodes, but also known as Bang. Follow her at bang.inc, doing this amazing Black and Gray piece with all of this incredible detail. Bang tattoos in between Atlanta and LA. She was actually featured on Ink Master. Started as an illustrator out of SCADS, the Savannah College of Arts and Design, which is an amazing sort of institution, as everyone knows, and is also a captain in the U.S. Army. It's just all around badass. We have next for traditional Japanese, our winner is Xavier Holcomb. Xavier is an amazing artist out of Houston, Texas. Shout out my home state, Texas. He is a self-taught artist and usually sort of goes for Black and Gray, but also obviously has amazing Japanese works here. Follow him at tattoos_by_X-ray. He's also been featured in one of our panel series, Tattd Talks, so see him there. For realism, we have this awesome piece by Mario Arcila. Mario is out of Miami, Florida. He's wildly talented, focuses in between Japanese, Americana, neo-traditional, and as you can see, Black and Gray. He's super driven. I actually know Mario personally, and he's just a really amazing person and tattoo artist, and obviously has some amazing work here. So that's our realism winner. And last but not least, watercolor. We did a watercolor and color work category, and our winner is Jazzpalino. You can find her at gentle_jazz. Jazz is a New York City based and also born and raised in New York, tattoo artist who tattoos here in Brooklyn at Fleur Noir. She started out as a painter, but quickly moved into tattooing, and obviously is an absolutely amazing tattoo artist. And then for the final drum roll winner of our competition, Jazzpalino actually is our ultimate winner, you guys. Congrats to Jazz. Jazz is gonna get, in addition to all the Hustle Builder product, the $500 cash prize. She is amazing. And so all of this actually, this whole competition was judged by our amazing speakers, being the exquisite tattoo artists that they are. So there's no way it could have been rigged, but I also have to give Jazz a shout out because she's actually a good friend and just an incredible, incredible human. And I'm so happy that we get to celebrate her today. So congrats to Jazz. Awesome. So that concludes, you guys, our virtual tattoo convention brought to you by Tattd and Hustle Brother. Thank you again to all of our incredible speakers. Y'all are all just absolutely so inspirational. And thank you for sharing with us and with the community here at Tattd. And thank you everyone for tuning in. This means so much to me to be able to connect you guys. And I hope you had a fantastic time. And definitely we'll make sure to look out for your inboxes because I want to make sure everyone here keeps in touch and gets to connect even more offline. All right. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much.